things in my life that I'm absolutely impressed with and love to death. One is my Jeep, we all know that. One of the other things is something that's on my Jeep right now, and I need to sing the praises of this thing, but I need to tell you a little story first. About 2 years ago, a friend of mine and I decided it would be fun to drive our Jeeps to the Arctic Circle and play around up there doing photography. It was one of the most amazing trips of my life. The scenery was extremely fantastic. It was a little cold. We went over August, September, and it was down to sometimes -15, -10 at night. But it was the most beautiful trip ever. And that time of year to go see the Arctic Circle is brilliant. And here's why. One is when the first permafrost hits, all of the bugs are dead. They're just gone. You don't have to deal with those thousands of hordes of bugs the whole time. The second is there's been some snowfall, but it's not everywhere. So you get this really great blanket of snow mixed with all the yellow and browns and oranges and reds that kind of, all those tones that kind of come through as well, and little ribbons and stuff. So it was a beautiful time to go, and I would recommend going at that time. It's not too cold, and it's still, but though has a lot of the hints of the Arctic that make it what it is. So we did this trip, and on the way up this trip, there's one piece of stretch of road that's quite horrible, and it's called the Dempster Highway. And if you guys haven't been or researched or looked at or know about the Dempster Highway, it would be worth taking a look at. Here's why it's a challenge. The highway was built on shale rock because it's the only rock they had up there. And if you'd understand shale, it's super, super flat rock that's just sharp all the way around. So it's super skinny and sharp. So they break it up, they put it down as a road base, but and then you cover it with dirt. But the problem is this: as potholes happen, inside the pothole, all the sides of the pothole have little sharp rocks sticking out the sides. So every time your tire drops into the sidewall, into the pothole, it's scrubbing the sidewall with this really sharp little bits of rock just constantly as you're driving this road. So tires take a horrible abuse on this road. And so we went, I bought some tires. I think I just put them on the Jeep just before that, but I went and I bought these tires by Toyo, which are a mud terrain. They're the Toyo mud terrains. And they're 35 inches by 12.5. They're a big tire, which I thought would be great to help with potholes and that sort of stuff. But what impressed me the most is how much they've stood up. I expected them to last that trip. I had no flats, I had no problems, and lots of people do have flats and problems up there, but I had no issues with these tires, and I was super impressed with them. They were nice on the road, they weren't too loud for a mud terrain, they were quite lovely. And I'm gonna take you outside and show you a couple of pictures of the tires right now. So I need to say, I have never bought a tire that had that size for my bigger vehicles that's had such an amazing wear. I'm still driving those tires, and it's almost 2 years later. I think it's more than 2 years later. I would say that these tires have probably about 80,000 kilometers on them, because they went from one Jeep to the next. And you'll be shocked to see how much tread is still left on these things. I was so impressed with them that I just wanted to do a shout out to Toyo tires today, just to say, this has been an amazing tire. It made it up the Dempster for me. It's had tons of K on it. It balances really well, and they really stick well when you're off-roading. While we were in the Arctic, we were off-road a fair amount, and they just performed well. They got big lugs, they stick really good. But it's not, what impressed me the most was, as an entrepreneur, the longevity that these tires have. And it made me start thinking about, as we build products as entrepreneurs, as we build anything, as we build companies, as we build products, as we build whatever, we need to think long term. We need to think with the customer in mind. We need to think that they're going to expect that it has a certain lifespan, or expect a certain quality out of it, or expect certain characteristics. And it's not often in my life I come across a product, especially something like a tire, that way outdoes my expectations of a tire. Now, on the back of the Jeep, I have one spare that hasn't been used. So I've been rotating the 4, but not the spare. So you can see the difference in the tread wear after, I think I'm getting high K on this thing now. I should actually add it up and figure it out, but it's a lot. And I'm gonna show you, I still have lots of wear left to go. So I wanted to say thank you, Toyo, for making such an amazing tire. I think that They're durable, they're strong. I'm not getting paid for this stuff because I don't want to be paid by Toyo, but I think that any one of my friends who runs Jeeps and has big tired vehicles, you need to know these tires exist because they're amazing. I heard they have a new all-terrain coming out, which sounds pretty sweet as well, and apparently balances even better and gets better gas mileage and a lot less road noise. But I'm gonna show you these tires. Look, I'll take you outside right now, because this is, I'm not kidding you when I say I'm rarely impressed by a product like this. It's really windy out, so, but if you look here, so here's the spare, okay? So it's a big tire, but look at the tread. So I've got to there. So that's the tread on the brand new tire. Now come over here. What am I, like half of my tread gone? So I'm gonna say it's half my tread is gone. And I have so many K on this thing, it's unbelievable. They've been a fantastic tire for me. They actually climbed to the top of this big mountain there too. It was freezing cold out, covered in these really sharp rocks, and it sliced up the tire a lot and everything like that. In fact, check this out right here. This tire is a great example of it's missing a chunk. That's not Toyo's fault. That's because I climbed a freaking mountain with it of freezing cold rock in the Arctic Circle, and they held up amazing. It's got lots of little scuffs like this. Come on, come on. So there's lots of little sidewall scuffs and everything like that, but all four of these tires have held up amazing, and I'm super impressed. I couldn't be happier with those tires. So I'm just doing a shout out to Toyo today because that's an amazing tire. It stood up really well, and I would recommend it to anyone who does overlanding or any of that sort of stuff with their Jeep like I do. You can get a lot of other tires, but that one in particular has lasted me more. I mean, look at it, I still have tons of tread on it. So Toyo, keep making that tire, keep doing a good job of it. I've put that thing through hell and back, and it's really stood the test of time. That's it for today.